Good morning, Wheeling High School. Welcome back to another episode of WCAT News, where we bring you a variety of different segments. Today we have Ethan with Stuck at Home Sports. We have Cameron giving us an update on our grocery stores and farming issues going on right now. We have Jeremy Cohen, the Jeremy Cohen Weather Time segment, and we have Lauren with our history fact of the day. We hope that you enjoy this week's WCAT News program, and I'll go ahead and give it off to Ethan.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Stuck at Home Sports. I'm Ethan, and today we're going to be continuing our Last Dance review, but before we get to that, we've got some big news regarding a live sport going on TV. That's right, so for those who have been tired of having to watch replays of games over and over and over again, and it's just getting boring, well, I've got a three-word solution for you: the Korean Baseball Organization. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck is the KBO? Well, the KBO is a 10-team league based in South Korea with plenty of former MLB players that are now playing in this league, because the KBO is the most popular league in South Korea out of any sport, so people are enjoying it there, so why can't they enjoy it here? But they have no fans in attendance, and instead they have cardboard cutouts of people and just sound systems of people cheering in the background to make it sound like a real baseball game. But in reality, it's not. But it's still kind of funny to see those cardboard cutouts of all those people all over the place. However, with all this hype surrounding the KBO, it does require a little bit of dedication, because you have to wake up between 12 and 3 a.m. Yes, that late at night, you have to sit and watch a baseball game. Most people, like any logical person, would never do that. But if you've reached that point of desperation like me, where you're like looking anywhere and everywhere for sports, or at least live sports, to watch on TV, I've actually been doing that. I've been cheering for the NC Dinos. They're 4-0 in their conference. They're undefeated. They're a beast of a team. And this event overall has just been super, super enjoyable. They've been broadcasting on ESPN, of all places, that late at night. So it's kind of funny how they're doing that. But other than that, let me know what your guys' favorite teams are and which team your guys are going to be rooting for in this KBO. Alrighty, guys, you already know what time it is. Last Dance Review. In this week's episodes, number 5 and 6 of The Last Dance, it got a little bit more of a serious note as they began to talk a little bit more of the emotional background of Michael Jordan. They brought up Kobe Bryant, who, rest in peace Kobe Bryant, it was great to finally see him alive and all well and healthy. And then we also got to see all of Michael Jordan's shoe backgrounds and all the controversies that brought with that. And finally, they talked about the 1992 Olympics Dream Team. These episodes of The Last Dance just keep getting better and better and make you want to tune in each week to see what happens next. But if you don't take my opinion and my joys for this series, why don't you go ahead and listen to some of my peers?
I think episodes 5 and 6 of The Last Dance were really good. I think it gives us like an insight about what it was like to be Mike and how it really wouldn't have been like the best thing to be like him, considering the backlash he'd get from media and all the stuff that he had to deal with.
Something I found interesting about episode 5 and 6 is where they were talking about Jordan's first deal with Nike, and it was like $250,000. And if you compare that to something with Zion Williams' $75 million deal with Jordan, that's crazy to think about. And then I also like the coverage of the Dream Team and showing how the U.S. was starting to become a powerhouse in basketball in the world.
So episodes 5 and 6 start out with Michael Jordan talking to the East basketball team in the 1998 locker room about Kobe Bryant and how this up-and-coming 19-year-old was going to go after him one-on-one and take the game to the East. I thought it was interesting because Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite basketball players of all time, and here this young 19-year-old was already on Jordan's radar, and Jordan wanted to make sure that he put him in his place and made him earn everything that he was going to get that night. I also found it interesting that Kobe and Jordan had a behind the cameras relationship. Kobe was constantly reaching out to Jordan about how he could get better, kind of picking his brain about his work ethic, and just always getting advice from Michael. So I thought it was cool that the two of them had a relationship that a lot of us didn't know existed. Another segment I really enjoyed was the part where they talk about all Michael Jordan's endorsements with Nike, McDonald's, and Gatorade. I remember in 8th grade, I was playing Wheeling High School feeder basketball, and the Jordan 11s had just come out, and they were so popular and so hard to get that I actually played a whole season in a size up shoe that I normally would wear, and like the lines are still in the shoe because they're so big on me. And I also remember in 1992 when the Dream Team was out, McDonald's did, like, every time you supersized a value meal, you got a large cup with one of the Dream Team members on the cup. When Michael Jordan, it was the week of Michael Jordan, every McDonald's was sold out of these cups, and we had to like drive to Gurney Mills in order to get one of these Michael Jordan cups. So I remember collecting those cups as a little kid, and just like how influential Michael Jordan was on shoes, McDonald's cups, anything that Jordan touched was gold.
Mr. O'Keefe here along with Chloe. A live look from our backyard. Hope all is well during remote learning during this difficult time. Just wanted to talk a little bit about the Last Dance that's been going on the last couple weeks, highlighting the awesome career of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Really a lot of fun for me to watch along with Chloe here to relive the glory days of the Bulls and to learn about all the behind the scenes stuff that went on during the career of Michael Jordan. So hopefully you guys are watching The Last Dance. It's been a lot of fun for me, like I said, to watch it and relive those great moments and memories, and I think it's pretty cool for you guys to see what the dynasty of the Bulls looked like in the 90s and hopefully where the Bulls can get to here in the near future. Have a great day and hope all is well.
Thank you to all those who actually submitted videos to me. I really appreciate it because it helps me with creating more of an input and an impact to try and convince those who still haven't watched the series to actually go and try and watch it. But besides that, thank you all for tuning in to this week's Stuck at Home Sports. I hope you all enjoyed, but I will now send it over to Cameron with our farming update.
All right, thank you, Ethan, for our sports update. Can't wait to see the next episode of The Last Dance tonight. Very excited for that. Now I'm going to give you the farming and grocery store updates. So, as you probably know or heard in the news or even seen in the grocery store, that we are on the verge of a meat shortage. So lots of these processing plants that package our meat that we get in our grocery stores, they had to shut down because obviously for companies like that, places like that, they have to have lots of workers working there to package these meats. And you know, we can't really have big groups of people, and when that happens, we see that, you know, outbreaks start to happen with the coronavirus, and that's exactly what's happened in some of these meat packing plants, which now have to close. So there's many grocery store limiting the amount of meat you could buy. I know I went to Jewel the other day. They had a limit of 2 meat products that you could buy, which is really crazy. There's some restaurants I know that aren't even selling meat products. Like Wendy's took their hamburgers off their online menu, so you couldn't even order a cheeseburger online, which is crazy. So yeah, a little scary. Something else that's happening is sales in vegan meat is skyrocketing, so obviously there's not a whole lot of meat going into the grocery stores because these packing plants are closed, so it's really hard to get meat into the grocery store. So one thing that is in the grocery store that people didn't really know too much about before this whole thing broke out was vegan meat. You might see that in, you know, your meat section with your other meats. It was just kind of sitting there, but people are starting to discover that and try that, and so vegan meat sales are skyrocketing, which, I mean, I have mixed opinions about that. I don't care if you're vegan, if that's what you believe in, good for you. It just, you know, in the long run, it can hurt the farmers, you know, that are trying to make a living. But yeah, I think that's great that there is an alternative meat out there. But yeah, as far as the farmers go, a lot of them aren't even able to sell their product because if there's nowhere to sell it to, if these packing plants are closed, obviously they have nowhere to sell their meat to. So they're producing animals, they're raising animals, and they have nowhere to sell that product to, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, just pretty much our whole food supply chain is kind of broken. It's kind of always been, we never really had like a backup plan if something like this ever happened, and I mean, it's really starting to show now. So hopefully they could try to figure something out here before this gets any worse. I'd say it's at the beginning stage right now. We're not really at a shortage, but we're getting there, so they got to be really careful and see if they could try to figure something out. But that's all I have, and now we're going to toss it over to Jeremy for the weather.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Cohen, and it's weather time.
It's weather time with Jeremy Cohen.
Thank you, Cameron, and thank you for tuning in to Weather Time. My name is Jeremy Cohen, and let's breathe in for the weather for the week of Sunday, May 10th. It's a nice wind we have over here right now, and that's going to be a recurring theme throughout the week. This week, we're going to have a very diverse range of weathers. Most likely, we'll probably be living every single season, except for hopefully winter. Snow does not seem to be in the forecast for this week, but it will get a little breezy and cold in the higher up 30s and lower 40s. But for the most part of the week, it'll be 50s, 60s, even the 70s, which is going to be more than welcomed here. Now, thank you so much for tuning into Weather Time. My name is Jeremy Cohen, and let's go to Lauren for this day in history.
Welcome to Today in History with WCAT, and today, on May 10th, in 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president. Nelson Mandela is a familiar name synonymous with racial equality and activism, and in 1948, this is when the white supremacist National Party of South Africa rose to power, and they put in the groundwork for apartheid. After this, Mandela joined the African National Congress, and he became a prominent leader of the ANC, leading many civil protests. In 1960, Mandela and a few others tried making an ANC military to fight against the government, and he was tried in 1961. And then again in 1963, he was tried with others and arrested for life in 1964. He spent 27 years in jail, and 18 of these years he was forced to work in a quarry, he was cut off from the outside world, and he was only allowed visitors once a year for 30 minutes. In 1989, F.W. de Klerk was elected president of South Africa, and F.W. de Klerk removed the ban on the ANC, he released Mandela, and together, F.W. de Klerk, Mandela, with the ANC, worked together to remove apartheid. In April 1994, free elections for all people were held for the first time in South Africa, with millions showing up. On May 10th, 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president. This is an extremely important moment in history for racial equality. It shows that social justice is achievable in the most restrictive places. Here are my sources.